So firstly, welcome everyone. Heartiest congratulations to all of you for being selected. We had 40 applicants so far and we could select only 22. We promised 15, but some of your applications were so good that we increased uh, the limits from 15 applicants to 22 applicants. So many congratulations to you, each one of you on that. Awesome. So about TAMID Group. So as you know so far, the TAMID Group is an Israel-US based group focusing mainly on consulting, investment fund, education, and finance fundraising. So going ahead in the next 10 weeks, you will be educated on all of these parameters. You'll have to participate in consulting case study competitions and investment fund competitions. And this club is unique in terms of this is not an open group, as you know, it's only a handful of you got into this club. And this is going to be like this henceforth, like as long as TAMID exists on SP Jain, we have limited the membership number to 30 to 35. So it is going to, as the years come, it is going to be even more difficult to get into this club. And at this club, we mean business, like no pun intended. It is going to be like very professional, like well delivered education content, competition, guest lectures, mentorship from MBA students, and the whole package in 10 weeks. So it's like a 10-week sprint for all of us to escalate our business acumens in terms of consulting and investment fund. So that's a broader outlook of TAMID Group. And with this, we can start the orientation. Akhilesh, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for this really good introduction, Manthan. There are some rules, but first let's dive into what you guys can expect and what we guys expecting from you. Let's start with the definition and let's identify what is the TAMID Group. So it's a non-profit organization, and it has been developed in Israel to develop our own personal skills. Usually when undergrad students graduate and they get into the industry, we find that there's a mismatch between knowledge and skills, which are very different terms, but related. Now, TAMID Group here harmonizes these two. So the knowledge that you gain in class and the skills and knowledge that you get from the TAMID Group will allow you to become a well-versed professional for the industries. We don't want to start our career by being jobless for years. So the TAMID Group will give you hands-on interaction with the Israeli economy and with MBA mentors like Manthan rightly mentioned, with the new dean, and with many other guests that will come in and out week in, week out to deliver specially crafted lectures for you guys to enjoy. This is a very exclusive club, so I want all of us here to express our gratitude to just be part of such an exclusive circle. Now, why Israel? So the TAMID Group focuses on Israel, but why? Because it is a startup nation. It's the dream startup nation for people to start their own companies, for ideas and dreams to come true. Countries like the UK, like the US, have many startups which fail. The difference with Israeli startups is that when they grow to become large and very stable startups that can even transform their founders into millionaires and billionaires. It's a very friendly startup ecosystem, and SP Jain constantly pushes us to be very entrepreneurial. And the TAMID Group is also driving students to become entrepreneurs or consultants or investors. 94 Israeli companies are currently listed on the NASDAQ. If you don't know about NASDAQ, well, TAMID is for you. You're going to learn about the A to Z, or rather I should say the N to Q of the NASDAQ. We have the highest concentration of high-tech and startup companies outside of the United States. Now, let me give you an example. If we take weapons and the weapon industry, Israel is really advanced. Now, if you work in the weapon industry, they also need consultants. They also need economists, they also need investors, fund managers, wealth managers. So we will try to supply the Israeli market and the global market with such highly skilled individuals. For all the ladies here, you should know that Israel has the highest rate of entrepreneurship in the world. And for all the feminists, well, you should definitely look forward to all the activities organized by the TAMID Group. These are our group tracks. So if we break down whatever we'll do throughout all the sessions, throughout our work with the TAMID Group, we can divide it into 4. So first of all, we have education, where we will teach you about business basics, and we will truly try to improve or enhance your business acumen and your skills. We will have case study competitions. We also have the consulting wing of the TAMID Group, where we will teach and be taught how to become consultants. We will work on actual consulting projects, work in teams, and interact with real Israeli companies to hopefully help them solve their own business problems. We also have the investment fund, where we will have to manage Israeli stocks and portfolios. And currently there's $43,000 in this portfolio. We can also have fellowships, where each and every one of us could potentially have an opportunity to go to Israel for 2 months, or even more if we manage to seduce and impress the bosses there, to work for a huge corporation or for a startup and generally contribute to that startup's growth. Now, what can you guys expect? And why you guys decided to join the TAMID Group? Hopefully, it will coincide and harmonize with everything listed here. So we want to learn about the world of investing and consulting. In every single book that us wannabe entrepreneurs will read, there's always that one line which will tell you, the only thing that we don't know about life is investing, and that if we were taught about investing when we were young, our life would have been shaped differently. And that difference, that's equal to the TAMID Group. That's equal to a membership in the TAMID Group. You'll learn about consulting. Many of us here want to become consultant. I mean, why not? As you learn in the upcoming education session, which will happen shortly after this, you'll learn about all the perks of being a consultant. And it's really interesting. And you have to deep dive to be able to become a really, really good consultant. You'll learn new skills, which obviously will vary. So you'll learn about marketing, you'll learn about how to become a better entrepreneur, you'll learn about finance, you'll learn about the world of education planning, HR. The world is big, skills are many. You choose the one that you want to master. Time management, we expect you guys to be very punctual. So we expect you guys to become slightly more responsible over time. Teamwork. I know that, and even myself, I enjoy the time of being a lone wolf, working all alone. But let me tell you, in the world, it's not like this. You need to have a team behind you. Even the sharpest minds in the world cannot do anything on their own. If you can think, you need something to execute. And we will try our best to improve and enhance our teamwork and team communication skills. Now, let's interact a bit. It's getting a bit boring. My throat is itching from talking. Does anyone here know about flow? What is flow? I am disappointed, I must say, business students not knowing about flow. Give me something, guys. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna pause.
Something that's constantly moving. Right?
Not really. No. Okay, I'll invite Mr. President. Let me rack his brains a bit. Manthan, please tell me what's flow.
Oh man,
You're someone constantly in flow, so you better know what it is.
Thanks for this. I think it's The State of Mind. There's a book called Flow by Michael, an Israeli writer
This
himself. So it's what athletes feel when they're in the zone, and they're playing the peak of their performance. So that's what he's trying to
exactly.
refer.
That's the flow. Now I struggle to find a flow. The most productive people on earth go immerse themselves into a state of flow. A state of flow is when you're so concentrated that you can go on doing the same thing for 12 hours while being constantly productive. This is what we expect to learn in this group. I want us to be able to enter that state of flow very easily and not leave it until and unless we want to leave it. And trust me, this is the hardest skill to learn. Your mind can wander anywhere. I mean, scientists say the peak concentration period is only available to a human being for 15 minutes a day, or 45 if you're an outlier. Now, I want every one of us to become outliers. If you can get into flow for even 2 hours a day, you can become the most productive employee or employer on this planet. And this is what we want. So these are our departments in the TAMID group. So you have the education department, which I'm currently overlooking, and I hope to pass on to someone who's as passionate about educating himself or herself and her peers or his peers. We also have the consulting branch headed by Arunan. I'll not invite him right now because he has a whole stage to himself later on. You'll get bored of him, as you are of me right now. We also have our investing branch headed by Aryan and Akhilesh. I'll invite Aryan and Akhilesh right now for a few seconds to say a couple of words about what they expect from people who will be working with these guys under the investing branch. Guys, the floor is yours.
Nice to meet everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. So me and Akhilesh sat together and tried to figure out a rough education plan, right? So at this stage, even we're not at that particular level that we can make a really detailed something of a CFA program of that sort. However, but what we can try to do is try to understand the basics and try to figure out what the basics that we've learned and try to put it together. So in the first class, we've got the power of investing, right? So in today's world, everyone's into trading and cryptocurrencies, right? Everyone's into this short-term mindset. However, people fail to understand how millions and billions were made. They weren't made overnight. I mean, you can't catch the whale at the shore. You have to go towards the ocean, right? So it's that kind of mindset and stuff like that. Firstly, like I'll have to really mention that we're directly not going to be trading stocks in the first 2 or 3 months of investing because I mean, understanding the basics of accounting and the details of the accounting ratios and the whole process is something that we're focusing on in this gestation period. Once we've understood that, then yeah, we'll definitely dig deep into it in the flow, like how it's mentioned earlier. And just an analogy of that sort is like if you're driving a Formula One car and you want to race it, obviously you'll have to learn the track first, where the braking points are and DRS zones, and then you can push the car to the limit, right? You can't just go out racing without knowing the track. So that's a little mountain to get rid of, but I'm pretty sure most of you guys will be astonished by seeing how wealth is created over 5-10 years, and cryptocurrencies and your short-term trading just cannot compete at the levels of that compounding. So yeah, and if Akhilesh has something to say, Akhilesh story, let him just continue from here.
Hey guys, so just to add on what Aryan had just said, we'll also have a stock pitch competition where we'll work in teams and we'll just have to pitch an Israeli company to invest, and there will also be a prize for it. So yeah, it should be really exciting for the next few months.
Hey, thank you, Akhilesh and Aryan, for this quick introduction of yourself and the investment part of this club. Just to build upon that, the departments that you see on the screen right now, each has a position of vice president open, to be run. So one of the job descriptions for a vice president for investment would be to help these two create content, do research, and reach out to guests, etc. In the next 10 weeks. So if that is just something to put in, if you're interested to apply in that club department to work in that club, that's the relevant information related to that. Yeah. What do you want to do next, Mr. Bachu?
Over to me. So now that we are already starting to think about growing rich intellectually and also in terms of wealth, it's time to invite Patricia onto the stage. Milady, please come on and explain what are you planning for fundraising and for the finance department? See, a club cannot run without money.
Hi, everyone. Okay, yes, so basically the fundraising department, so I'm co-directing it with him. And basically our job is kind of very straightforward. The one capstone that we have to achieve is to raise fund amounting to 500 to 700 US dollars. So this means that we can prove to the TAMID higher ups authority, whatever, that we're actually self-sustained and now we can power and basically operate on our own, and with our own agency, with our own practices, and with our own kind of collection of preferences that we will be collecting. For example, you can see that those preferences are reflected in the education plan itself. Right now, what we're currently developing is like mass sale of merchandise across four campuses, and we have partnered up with the school and the global learning team from Dubai, so that's Magna, and they have approved seed funds for us to kind of just start the sale process. So I think that in the next couple of weeks you will see prototypes of the product being marketed. And yeah, so we hope that we reach the number, and of course it'd be much more amazing if we can have more than that, because that means that we have extra funds to spend on prizes, or like getting an external speaker that might be a little bit harder to get. And and then we can have more operations that can be done on the spot. So for example, if you have any ideas on an event that we could do and that idea requires funding, then whatever we raise funds, like we can use it for that. So that's the kind of general idea for the fundraising department. And if you have any ideas, please, just like be open about it. The directors would like to say that I hope that we can foster this collaborative spirit within. So even now, like majority of us look serious all the time with formal presentations and sticking to the branding terminologies. We'd like to say that behind the scenes, we're really open-minded and we like hearing from you guys. So we look forward to you, and thanks again for having this meeting with us.
Well, this department is a lady-driven department. Iron ladies are here, Patricia and Hien, so thank you for this. Now, the difference between animals and human beings is that when we communicate, we are loud and we're efficient. Heading the communication department is Melanie. Is Melanie here?
No, but I can cover for her. So in terms of
Manthan.
communication, it's like it's communication between TAMID and also with TAMID nationals in Boston. So midterm report, like it's like developing a report for the midterms and the final things, which we will draft and send it to them. And based on that report, we will be getting our full chapter. So this is the beta chapter. If we pass all these objectives, we get a full chapter in which you can fly to Israel and also throughout the semester work with real Israeli companies. So that's the description of that department.
All right. Moving on to one of the most important departments and one of the most hot potato fields in the market right now, marketing. Spearheaded by our very own marketing warrior, Daksh. Really talented guy. Daksh, can you hop on, please?
Well, thank you, Akhilesh. Well, as for the marketing department, our main goal over here is to basically market all the events that are open to people, to all SP Jain students. We'll be marketing that. We'll be and we also have to create validity and credibility of this group. It's in the beta chapter right now, but our main and final goal for marketing would be to make TAMID a part, like a deep part of SP Jain. So any student who comes in, even in the first year, should know about TAMID and know, okay, this is a very exclusive group and I need to be a part of it. So there are a lot of challenges ahead. And if you're interested in joining the marketing department, know this, that you'll have full freedom to experiment with the psychology as well of other students, and you can see as to what works, what doesn't. We'll be having a lot of fun sessions where we'll be like under the marketing department, we'll be learning how to make a few videos. We'll be learning how to make presentations. There are a few sets, just to make your life easier as well when it comes to making presentations. Thank you, Akhilesh.
Thank you for these wise and very weighting words. Now, I know because of COVID, we cannot have face-to-face events, but at SP Jain we'll innovate. So we'll have e-events, online events. And our very own events department is spearheaded by Ms. Priyanka Savle. Priyanka, please grace this session with a few words.
Thank you, Akhilesh. Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to work with all of you, and congratulations on being selected. So for the events part of the plan, we will be having 2 professional development workshops in the next 2 months. And we will also be having three events outside the TAMID curriculum. And these events will be somewhere like live seminars, guest speakers from outside, and sessions with the industry speakers. So now, as per the role of the Vice Director of Events, you will be expected to work with me, Mera and Manthan, and for having these people on board at SP Jain for these events. So you will also be guided by Ms. Meghna throughout this. And I think that's about it. I'm really looking forward to work with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. She has been our warrior. She made this event happen. So thank you for this.
Thank you, Akhilesh.
Next up, we have the membership department. The soul of this group, the reason why you guys have been selected and why our recruitment process has been so smooth. Miranges, please. The floor is yours.
Hi guys, I'm Mera. So yeah, if you're interested to handle a membership relationship, do like administrative work, direct, coordinate, and of course in future also like grow bigger this TAMID Club at SP Jain, and most important like growth and do with this group, like make it do great vibes here. So please join so we can do it, and thank you.
I think you're bored of us board members, so let me stop sharing my screen right now and I'll start with Arunan. I give you 15 seconds. I give you 20. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, so you just said my name. It's Arunan. I'm from Mauritius, BBA 18, and I'm currently heading the consulting department, but I'm willing to have someone else co-heading it with me. Of course, we'll have a co-director, but if someone wants to level up and co-head it with me as head of consulting, I'll be glad to do that. We've planned a lot of stuff for you all. I'm not a very fun guy. I mean, I'm not very humorous, but we can always learn from each other, and I hope to see you all soon. I mean, working hand in hand. Yeah.
I mean, he's hoping to see people soon, so that's something different. Let's go on to Akhilesh now. Come on, tell us about yourself. We're breaking the ice.
Hey guys, so I'm also BBA 18. I'm from Mauritius, and I'll be heading the investment department with Ariane. And I'm really looking forward to work with all of you and learn each other.
All right, I have Manthan on my screen. Mr. Shah is writing a book, and TAMID is a chapter in our life. Look at the coincidence.
So, I mean, if you guys aren't picking up, but Akhilesh has this really weird sense of humor, so that's why I was just trying to drive it with. But thank you so much for this now in the ice-breaking thing. Thanks for mentioning the book. So, by making a humble attempt in writing a book. And just like TAMID is the highlight of my semester this year. And I think TAMID has potential to really change their experience at SP Jain as business students. So it is very promising. It's going to be fun. So let's move on. So maybe Akhilesh, whom you want to
Let's go
nominate
on
next?
to Josh. So De Costa, introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Joshua. I like doing anything that involves money. I'm in Oman right now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to making TAMID a very important part of my next semester. So looking forward to that. Sorry. Yeah. I move my hands a lot. That's it. Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. You know, itchy hands means money's coming. I hope spending is not one of your habits that involves money. You'll have to control that. Let's go on to Lokanayaki.
Hello everyone, I am Loka and I'm from India in Singapore, but I'm BBA 18 batch and I'm looking forward to learn more and gain more experience from the TAMID Group.
Next up we have is W Square Wazifa.
Hi, so I'm Wazifa. I'm from Mauritius too, and I'm from BBA 20. And I am also really looking forward to all the activities you planned for us.
Next up is probably the most diplomatic person I've ever known, Mr. Alan Manzi.
Thank you, Akhilesh. I'm Alan. I'm from Rwanda, and I'm excited to be part of the team and looking forward to working with every one of you, and also get to learn a lot from each other. Thank you.
Next up on my screen is Nikhil Vasudevan.
Hello everyone, my name is Nikhil Vasudevan. I like Formula 1 and weightlifting, and I also like to learn new things every day, and I hope that I would get to learn a lot of new things from you all, and looking forward to it.
Charles Leclerc will beat Hamilton on this note. Next up is Srinidhi.
Hi guys, I'm Srinidhi. I'm also part of the BBA 18 and I'm from India, but I live in Botswana right now. And I'm so grateful to be part of the group and I'm really looking forward to learn new things.
We have our own sneakers investors, Mr. Nimish. Blow us off.
Not a sneaker investor yet, but hopefully so, yeah. But hi everyone, I'm Nimish and I'm from BBA 18 as well. I'm from India and I love sneakers. Thank you.
Sakshi and her lovely smile, come on. Floor is yours.
Hi everyone, I'm Sakshi. I'm from BBA 18 as well. And I'm from India, but I've been born and brought up in Dubai. I'm honestly really grateful to be a part of TAMID Group, considering that I've always been towards the marketing side more. So I would really like to see how I'm able to combine my creativity with finance, investing, and consulting. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you.
We're also looking forward to having you as a part of this group. Kaushik, you're up next on my screen.
Hello, I'm Kaushik Agarwal. I'm from the BBA September 19 batch. And I'm really looking forward to work with you guys. Yeah.
Next up is Chaitanya.
Hello everyone, I'm from BBA 19 batch and I'm from India, currently in Dubai, and really looking forward to learn a lot of stuff here.
Vahob, our life entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, good morning, guys. Well, I'm very inspired by TAMID mission and I'm looking forward to start this new journey with you guys.
We're also excited for this.
Thanks,
Raghav.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Raghav and I'm from BBA 18 in my third year now, and yeah, looking forward to this.
Next up, we have the man on the beach, Jordan.
Hi everyone, I'm Jordan from Mauritius. I'm also in BBA 18
and also looking forward to work with the team and contribute to the success of the TAMID Group.
All right, I think Yen is left. Yen is a board member, but she's been silent. Make some noise now.
Hello everyone, I'm Hin and BB18. I'm working with Patricia in the fundraising and finance department. In particular, I'm in charge of the finance department and looking forward to working with you guys. Thank you.
Hopefully the ice has now melted a bit and you guys will be more interested in the PPT now. So, okay, let's try. So let's get to the part where we'll be strict about. The very fact that the TAMID Group is an exclusive circle means that our requirements and necessities from you guys are going to be pretty high. So 80% presence. Owing to COVID and owing to unforeseen circumstances, there are some times where if you have a valid reason, you can be an absentee. But if you're consistently absent, that's the only part where we don't want you to be consistent. We want you to be consistently present. Always be here. Understand one thing, organizing these events, investing our guests, costs us time, sweat, effort, and money. And we had 40 applicants, we chose 22. Now you have the opportunity that others did not get. So make the most out of it and be present for every single one of these sessions. Now, obviously, if you have an emergency, we're not tyrants, okay? We understand, we've got a heart. It's fine. Drop us an email with a reason, but do not let this become a habit, right? We need your precious contribution. As I mentioned before, we have 7 or 8 departments. Every single one of these departments need people. We're actually working and operating like a business, like a company, a firm. We have our departments, you guys and us, we work for that department to thrive, for that firm to thrive. So we need to contribute, we need to be dedicated, we need to work in team. Now by working in team, I want us all to communicate. We might not become the best of pals, but come on, let's work as teammates. Let's work as a team. Let's get this beta chapter done with and let's write a new chapter in SP Jain history. Because if we do, and if I'm not wrong, we'll become the first Australian institution to ever get this chapter. So let's actually put everything into this. And the most important requirement that we have is for you to grow. We don't want you to waste your time here. We're not here to waste time, we mean business. So if at any point you feel that, you're not learning anything new, feel free to drop me an email. These kind of suggestions are appreciated, but focus on your growth and focus on your contribution to this group. So, a chaperone and it will rain macarons. This is one of the parts that I personally have been looking forward to, being mentored by someone who is studying at SP Jain, an MBA student, but someone who has worked in the industry before, someone who has been a consultant, someone who's been helping in his or her family business. People, when they come from the industry and dive back into academia, they have a different outlook on whatever they are learning. They learn and they mean business. We also learn, but are we really applying our knowledge? Well, probably not. Not everyone has the opportunity to do that. But with our mentorship program, we will be able to apply our knowledge towards various situations and scenarios. And we will adopt new practices and habits that will make us even better businessmen, better employers, investors, consultants, whatever field and whatever path we choose in life. We'll also have a capstone and guidance from faculty members and consultants. Now, we also have faculty members who are consultants and have been consultants. Now, we'll have two capstones, one from the consulting wing and one from the investing wing. I will not spend too much time on these because you'll learn more about the consulting one a bit later and the investing one in the coming week. But let me tell you, it is going to be a very intense study process where you'll have to manipulate data, find solutions, and be proactive. We'll also have case interview practices. Now, do you guys know about the big fours or the top fours? Those who do not know, well, you learn about it. But let me tell you, these interviews are hard to crack. And hopefully in those upcoming 10 weeks, we'll become so well versed that we could even interview others. Let's hope for the best. Now, this is the timeline, the education timeline. So we're planning to have weekly sessions at 4 p.m. every Saturday. We thought this was the best time for it to be scheduled, but we're happy to have other opinions coming. So you have these dates in front of you, and these will be sent to you by email. But take a minute, look at it, and have your expectations high. All right. Now, let's play a bit. All right, I'll launch Kahoot, and let's play. Let's see who knows more about Israel. I'll send the code.
Yeah, as we log into this Kahoot quiz for our Israeli aptitude, let me just build upon Akhilesh's point. So we are dead serious about the 80% attendance. Everyone is being marked by Mera. And once you kind of miss more than 20% of the classes, you'll be disqualified and you won't be able to apply again next semester either. So if that is one thing. And the second thing is you have to participate in the Capstone project. That's compulsory. You cannot not participate in it. I just wanted to drop these 2 points.
Here you go. The code quiz is now in the chat. May the best one win.
Akhilesh, you want to share a screen with the questions and all also?
Yeah. Don't worry, don't worry. Just let me know once everyone is here. Let's vibe to this music.
Please put your real name. Sorry.
Okay. Whose parents named him or her Blue Possum? It's very interesting. Come on, come on. Two more, two more. Two more people. Two more. Should be 23 people.
We can start, I think. Does anyone else need some more time?
I guess I'll start then. That's fine with everyone. Oh, we lost one. Okay, starting in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and all right. Let's go. Of course. Who is going to be Mr. President? All right. Sababa. Sabal al-Hazman. Yofi Tofi Ordain. Nice, Sababa, Sababa. And Mr. President drops, and it's our diplomatic Alan Mandy on top. Oh, it's been a while since I had hummus. It's a famous dish. Take an asparagus, dip it in hummus, and eat it. Really good. And yes, chickpeas it is. Mr. Allen really extending his lead. And 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And yes. Okay, some actually chose chicken dance. I am impressed. Ooh, and Josh takes the lead. The Trinity is on fire. Peanut butter Cheetos. That's something new. And Chaitanya takes the lead. This is getting interesting. Okay, this is an easy one. It's an easy one. Easy, easy. Snow ski. I never saw snow in my life. That is sad. It was indeed Tel Aviv. Ooh, and that's Akhilesh on top. It's good, it's good. You're upholding the honor related to my name. Very good. Indeed, Saudi Arabia and Srinidhi, who gets on top of Akhilesh right there. Okay, okay, I'm out of here. I think it's Julie Andrews, innit? Gotta be Julie Andrews, come on. Probably Sally Hawkins, but I'm not sure. Okay. And Trinity stays on top, and that's the number of the devil with an additional 6. I will take that. Oh, you're not ready for this one. You're not ready for this one. Everyone has fallen in the trap. This is a trap, guys. Alright. And Akhilesh takes the lead. Nice. Okay. I want to say my life, but that's not in the answer. Let's see. Oof. Arunan gets back in the race. All right. No wonder they called it the 6 Days War. All right. Indeed, in the capital, Jerusalem. All right, Team Mauritius is on top. All right, this one is a tricky one. Srinidhi coming back. And everyone's choosing Gazelle. In it. And everyone will choose a Gazelle. Oh, cultured people. We have the last question. Oh, Loka coming up. This is the last one. All right. Who won the podiums? Our top 3. Luca, congratulations. All right, Akhilesh, my man. Who's at the top spot? That's Arunam. Great. So hopefully you guys had fun with this code. Hopefully. Probably more fun than the FA ones. But let's get back to the presentation. It's going to be pretty fast from now.
Guys, I have to leave. I have class, but see you in the following sessions.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So the important dates that you guys have to keep in mind are the orientation, which is happening right now. Then we'll have 4 consulting education sessions and 4 investment education sessions, where you'll be educated and you'll learn about consulting and investing. And after these sessions, you'll be able to become and hone the skills of a management consultant or of an investment fund manager, and you'll be able to integrate these 2 industries without much difficulties. We'll have a consulting capstone, which will start from the 20th of March to the 3rd of April. So on the 20th, you'll receive the case that you'll have to crack, the simulation. And on the 4th, you'll have to present your results, your findings and suggestions to a panel. You'll also have an investing capstone, which will start on the 18th of March and end on the 25th of March. On the 26th of February, which is now, you'll have your orientation and introduction to consulting. So that's the next session that will happen today. Hopefully you guys are ready for it. Now, we're using Slack to communicate. So you guys will receive an invite to join the workspace. You'll have to install an application called Slack, because we noticed that sending emails simply doesn't get the job done. It takes a lot of time and a lot of space. So Slack allows instant messaging, which we believe is going to help us to become more productive. So it's a closed circle. Do not share the invitation to others. You'll be sent the invites pretty soon. And that was the orientation session done. And I'll stop boring you guys right now, because I know you are. And let's move on. Manthan, please take it ahead from now.
Hey, thank you so much for this, Akhilesh. Very rejuvenating and refreshing orientation session it was. So now we'll be proceeding to the first consulting session. We have 8 sessions, as he mentioned. This is the first of those education sessions. It's going to be like a consulting 101. So if you can grab a pen and paper, that would be great. Arunan is going to be leading this with Akhilesh helping me out. While you get your pen and paper, I'm just for you to know, there are some fixed dates, which is every Saturday, 4 p.m. Dubai time that he showed in the slide, one of those slides. You have to be present. That is fixed. That is going to be the education session for the next 8 weeks. There are a few variable dates which are based on the guests availability of the MBA students. So we'll be forming teams within you. Each MBA student will be allocated to one team. Each executive member will be allocated to one team, and that team is going to be competing with other teams for the consulting business competition and investment fund competition. And so those times and dates are going to be variable as we go ahead. So now, Arunin, please take the floor. This is Consulting 101. So yeah, and guys, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry for these little technical issues. So yeah, so I mean, you've just been through orientation. I know a lot of you are tired already. So we'll make this a bit more participative, and I'll invite you all to unmute and just speak up whenever you have questions. I cannot see you on my screen, unfortunately. So you can just speak up. If you put it in the chat box, it will be a problem for me to look into the chat at all times. So just unmute and interrupt. That's fine. And if you have any questions that I'm not able to answer during this session, I'll definitely write them down. I mean, Akhilesh Tori can take note of these questions and we'll ask them to a more senior consultant that we in our network, and we'll get back to you with those answers as soon as possible. So for the introduction, I'd like to ask some of you, what do you expect from this course? And then I'll tell you what we will deliver for you. So we can start with, I'm just looking at my screen. Alan, what do you expect from this consulting course that we will be doing here?
Thank you, Arunin. I expect to get more experience and on-hands approach with global leaders in this space of work, and to gain more knowledge and understand, as well as apply it in any field of my study or even outside.
All right, great. How about you, Sakshi? What do you think we will be learning through these consulting workshops that we'll be having throughout these 9 coming weeks?
Right. So whenever consulting comes into the mind, I think market research plays a really important role. So I would like to be better at that. I would like to learn more from that and be able to draw valuable insights, because research definitely majority of us can do, but to be able to draw valuable insights from those research is what is the main goal. So I would like to work towards that.
Great. So we exactly had those in mind when preparing our content for these coming weeks. So throughout these weeks and at the end of this 9-week with the TAMID Club, you should be able to better understand the consulting life cycle. Like, how do we go about first approaching a client, and then in the end, disengaging with a client. You should be able to understand the frameworks that we can use. For example, in your interviews, some of us have asked you about Porter's 5 forces, and now you'll be able to learn how to implement those frameworks. You should also be able to get the basics of approaching cases, guesstimation questions, and be better at critical analysis. We'll also be having a guest session with a guest from a renowned consultancy company, where that person will be talking to us about how to crack a case interview. So through that, hopefully you would have a better chance at landing a job in a Big 4 company. Just to end something on a more personal note, you should be able to improve your personal effectiveness as a consultant. So now to start. So what do you guys think is consulting? Anyone can just talk about it. What do you guys think is consulting? Joshua, you want to give it a try?
Yeah, consulting to me is solving problems in its simplest form.
All right, that definitely makes sense. So consulting is just a practice of providing a third party with expertise, and usually it's advice, and in return there will be an exchange of a fee. So the big companies that you have for consulting, you'll have McKinsey, Deloitte, BCG, Bain & Company, Accenture, and EY, just a few names to give you an idea of who are the big companies that you might look for whenever you're looking for an employment in the consultancy company industry. So there are different types of consulting. It ranges from strategic consulting, IT consulting, operation consulting, HR consulting, financial advisory consulting, and lastly, management consulting, which is something that I think most of us are acquainted with. So strategic consulting is mostly at the highest level of the consulting market. So they focus on corporate, organizational strategy, economic policy, and government policy. And they mostly focus on functional strategies. So these people, they'll be working with your top CEOs and they'll be giving advice on strategic level issues. IT consulting is what I think many of you will refer to as tech consulting. It mostly focuses on developing applications for information technology systems and alpha testing for the client. When it comes to operation consulting, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard about the Lean Six Sigma models. So operation consultants are those people who help clients to improve the performance of their operations. That is their day-to-day work of a company. HR consulting is also a growing part of consulting with COVID these days. These people are mostly work in the field of helping clients with human capital questions and improving the performance of the HR department. So you will see that these consultants, they will focus on organizational change, basically all the stuff that you learn in your organizational behavior classes. They will talk about change management, terms of employment, learning and development, and talent management. Then we've got financial advisory consulting. They focus on financial questions. They are those people who will help you in auditing, mergers and acquisition, corporate finance advisors. They will advise you on your future investments. And lastly, the broader category that we will be focusing on at TAMID, which is management consulting. It's just an umbrella which covers strategy consulting, operations consulting, and HR consulting. You might not know, but more than half of the population of consultants that exists, they are part of the management consulting. They are not as specialized compared to, they're not specialized in areas such as operations, but just the broader category of management consulting. All right, so now why do you guys think we need consultants? Anyone has an idea? Srinidhi?
Okay, so I'm not really sure, but like from what I just heard right now, I think it's gonna be mostly, say for example, a company doesn't have to hire an entire, like for example, if it's HR, then they don't have to hire an entire HR team, and they can just, you know, outsource it. I guess I'm just guessing.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, and that's one of the many reasons that we need consultants. And Ken, do you have any idea of why do we need consultants?
Until now, I have no idea.
Okay, do you want to give it a try?
Maybe for the similar to what she said, for the expert to give us expertise and help give us advice on how to deal with that problem.
All right, so that definitely makes sense what you guys said. So the main reasons why we need consultant is that they provide an outside eye for the company. A consultant is, you can take it as that friend you often go to for advice and whenever you have to take a tough decision. So a consultant is like that. They bring in a new perspective, they bring in their personal opinion because they work with similar scenarios in the past. So they bring in this creativity and innovation and bring new perspectives to the company. Whenever we talk about extra horsepower, we talk about manpower. So usually companies don't have the necessary assets to take on a project, those one-off projects, and it's not worthwhile to invest in more in employing more labor. So what they will do, they will employ consultants while the company itself might be focusing on its day-to-day activities. So the consultants will be able to focus on those one-off projects, and it creates a win-win situation for both the consultant and the company hiring them. We're also hiring consultants because of their specialized skills. As mentioned before, we have IT consultants, we have operations consultants. So these people have some specific specialized skills and they bring in those values to the company for whom they are working. So for example, they will have skills ranging from the Lean Six Sigma process design to financing organization. Maybe you can bring in a consultant, especially for fundraising. So these guys will bring these skill set, and it's on demand. You don't need to hire these people for a long period of time. And lastly, which is something that very common for many companies to do, is that they want a safe zone. So let's say you have to do some dirty job, you have to fire, let's say 200 employees, and you don't want to do it yourself. So you will hire a consultant to do it for you. So the consultant will have a difficult task of approaching those people who you want to fire, and they will take most of the blame for it so that you have clean hands. All right, so next, if you want to become a consultant, there are a specific set of skills that you will need, but these skills will vary from industry to industry, and it's not limited to the ones that we are talking here. Whatever we are mentioning in this slide are just those basic skills that you will need to get started with it. So firstly, you will need outstanding interpersonal skills. Consulting requires a lot of selling and a lot of convincing. I did mention about the big companies at the beginning, Accenture, BCG. These companies have a selling department, so they don't need their consultants to go on field and try to convince people to join them, to give them projects. But if you're working for smaller consultancy companies, you will need a lot of impersonal skills. You will need to convince people that you're good for the job, and you will need to showcase your skills in a way that the person is convinced that you're the best. Secondly, you will need to understand methods and frameworks. So when I say methods and frameworks, you need to know what framework is relevant. Framework is just a fancy way that has that people are always using, but to make it simple, it's just a logical sequence of actions. For example, Porter's 5 forces is just a logical sequence of actions that you're applying to a particular case. So as a consultant, you should be able to know which framework is relevant and apply it critically in your approach to work. You will also need in-depth specific skills. As a consultant, you cannot be an all-rounder. Of course, you will be able to cater for different business needs, but what's most important is that you should have an area of expertise. This is what will give you an edge over consultants. We all know with COVID, a lot of people became consultants overnight just because they lost their jobs. They have some expertise in their previous job. They deem to be consultants, but in order to have an edge over them, you should have some in-depth specific skills. Lastly, you need to have general business knowledge. As a consultant, you will need to be up to date with global daily news. Maybe you can make it a habit to read the news every day after you wake up or while you're having your cup of coffee. You will need to be up to date so that you can better factor in for the multiple variables that you have in a project. Right? So now Akhilesh will take it forward, and he'll be talking a bit about the perks of being a consultant.
Right, we're in this together, and we're in this for the money mainly, right? But there are various perks of being a consultant. It's a client-oriented service that you provide. So let's say I have a company, I'm a billionaire. Hopefully one day, maybe I'll say that, in real life I'll be one. But suppose I'm a billionaire, I've got a company, all right? Now you are a consultant, Arunan is a consultant. Now, if I'm a billionaire and I've got a company, it doesn't mean that I can do everything on my own. It doesn't mean that my staff can do everything. We are biased towards our own success. If I do something right now in 2021, then I feel that in 2023, I can do the same things to take my company to that next level. But that is not true. As the consultant, you will have, Arunan will work closely with me to understand my needs and fulfill those needs and those requirements. So he'll bring in his expertise and knowledge, apply it to the current scenario and issues that I'm facing, and provide me with a solution. Now, suppose I'm Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk has a big network. He knows many people. Now, when Arunan is working with Elon Musk, he gets to network with people that are in the network of Elon Musk. So his network grows. His network grows, his clientele grows, his business grows. He gets to know the problems of the industry and of the firm. It is a client-oriented service because you have to work with your client. To solve a problem, you have to understand the client's needs, requirements. You have to shadow him for days, weeks, and months. And this shadowing is actually a very interesting part of the job of a consultant. You get to learn, you get to network, and you get to apply. Now, the second point, multifaceted and intellectual, means simply that you'll be working with people from different fields who are excellent at what they do. You do not become a consultant by being average. Remember this. You cannot be a consultant and solve the problem of a company if you're average. No. You need to be excellent at what you do. And honestly, academics take you far, yes, but expertise that you get with hands-on experience in the industry or through your entrepreneurial way of thinking, that is learned through years and years of work. And this is why they employ consultants, because they have that experience. If I told you to apply Porter's 5 forces, you could take a book and read about it. But can you really apply it? You cannot, but that consultant can. You'll be working in teams. Now, working in teams is not always a life full of roses and everything. No, it's never truly smooth, but you have to compromise. You have to make compromises. You have to settle for things that you would usually not settle for. And I am not telling you, I'm not talking about to settle for a lower quality of work. That's not what I'm talking about. But you have to settle for working with people with different perspectives and different traits. So if you take a look at me and Arunan, we're both very different. If you put us on a psychometric scale, we're actually on the opposite end of that scale. And we did it, we are at the opposite end. But we work really well together. Hopefully. That's not an understatement. I think we do. So you work with people of different styles and different ways of thinking. Some of them will be critical, some of them will be creative and expressive. Now you have to find that perfect blend. To any of you who have actual enterprises and are business people, you know that in a team, not everyone will think alike. Despite the great quote that, great minds think alike, no, great minds actually think differently, but then they narrow down and broaden and narrow down their perspective at the same time. So they will have a bigger funnel looking in the same direction, rather than having different funnels looking in different directions. Now, being a consultant is good for your career. Let me start with the last point here, career launchpad and career development. I think they're very closely related. So career launchpad, because if you become a management consultant today and you wish to shift to another job, another company, another firm, that firm will negotiate with you to give you the highest salaries ever. Because you're someone who helped other enterprises, other firms solve their issues. So you can come in as an internal consultant, solve the issues within that firm and help that firm grow. And this is what everyone looks in an employee. If you are a consultant, then you learn so much about the industry that you'll be able to enter whatever business in that industry and help them. It's a steep learning curve, meaning that you'll have to grasp onto many skills in little time. Simply because the client requirements always change and the market is too dynamic for your skills to be stationary. So in 2010, learning Visual Basic was the big thing, the next big thing. Now Visual Basic is lying somewhere, gathering dust in an old box somewhere in the Microsoft Office. Now it's Python. Tomorrow it'll be R. Day after tomorrow it'll be Ruby on Rails. And I'm only taking the case of programming softwares. But even business models are changing. We no longer follow the linear process of growth. We have the exponential process of growth. We have the broken linear process of growth. There are so many business models that are yet to be found. And for a firm, for a client to shift onto those new business models, that's where the consultants come in. Now, obviously, you'll be well paid. You will be well paid. The average salary for these jobs is spikingly high, and they keep on increasing. During COVID, when firms needed digital transformation, consultants are the one who made the most money because they knew how to work with Google Docs. They knew how to work with Google Sheets, and these companies didn't know. So they taught them how to use these basic things and made millions and millions. The firms. Now the employees, they made a good handful of money as well. Now, I have to be very honest when I tell you that you'll have a work-life balance. That's not the case. A consultant has to wake up, attend calls, work through the night to deliver the project and the outcomes. You have to provide them with the deliverables that you promise to deliver. You make a promise to serve your client and you have to. So if this means that you have to wake up at 6 in the morning, start working at 7 and end your work at 12 at midnight, you have to do it. But along with your salary, you get many other benefits. So you have an insurance program in the US, you have your 401k prepared for you, so many benefits and so many learning opportunities. Now, something that I've noticed, if you go on LinkedIn and check for people who worked at BCG or McKinsey and who left these firms, have actually grown to be very successful entrepreneurs. This is because you learn from the industry, from the industrialist, how to solve their issues so that when you launch your own product, your own service, your own company, you do not face the same issues. And even if you do, you know how to solve these issues. So you have an upper hand on all of these novices who wish to launch an enterprise. You're guaranteed to have a higher success rate if you start as a consultant. Can I have the next slide, please? Now, this is the consulting life cycle. It works very similar as in the case of a doctor. So in the case of a doctor, you go to the doctor, they'll examine you first. So you have your initial examination. Next, he'll send you to do some tests. So you have your testing. Then he'll analyze your test results. Then he'll tell you what to take, a medicine, and what treatment you should follow. And this process will keep on going until you're fully cured. We all went to the doctor once, right? So it's the same thing. Consultants are doctors for businesses, which means that you have to study a lot, but you also work a lot. Now you have your initial contact. Initial contact could either be through, you're having a coffee and you have a chat, or they directly come to your firm and tell you, hey, I've got an issue. My firm is not doing well. I feel that the software we've been using is really bad. Now you have to define your problem. What do you mean by bad? Why is this software bad? Why are your employees not working as efficiently as they should have been? You analyze the problem. Then you send a proposal and a contract. So I'll charge you $100,000 to solve your problem. I'll need to talk to this and that guy from this and that department. Then you collect the data from these departments. So you'll go to the root of the problem and collect data from there. So if it is let's say an ops problem, an operation problem, go to the factory, all right? Measure the time taken for the whole production process to be wrapped up. Then you take data throughout a week. You analyze that week's data. With that data, you find a proper plan and you make a decision. Okay, so it means if I move machine A to plant B and move machine C to plant A, I'll be able to optimize production. But this means that my costs will increase by $10,000 because power in Kansas costs more than power in Georgia, for example. Then you intervene and take your plans to the client, tell them, hey, this is what we should do. So you implement it, see how it goes. You review everything. If after initial review, you find that, well, it could be optimized furthermore, then you go through the cycle again. So you send a proposal, you collect data, analyze, plan, intervene, and review. Only after the problem has been solved, the process has been smoothened, that you will disengage and shake hand with your client, say, hey, my job's done. It's running really well. I wish you the best of luck for the future and keep in touch. So this is your life cycle. This is how every single case usually works. This is how you'll approach a client. This is how you'll gather data. This is how you're expected to work. Now, it can be different in some cases whereby you start directly with a proposal and contract if you're working as a consultant and the contact and definition have been done by your superiors. It can also happen. It can also happen that they have employed a research specialist and this research specialist has already collected the data and analyzed it for you. So you only have to do decision-making planning. But usually the traditional consulting life cycle is depicted as such. Do I have any questions at this point? Feel free to ask. Right, I guess it's been pretty smooth. Can I have the next slide, please? Right. We want you guys to now either have a piece of paper and pen or a Google Doc. All right. And this is a case, this is a typical case. Obviously, it's a very simplified one, a simplified version of a complex one. We want you to just think, okay, who is the owner of a food truck? Who do you think are the customers of that food truck? We want you guys to answer these questions. And these are questions that consultants have to answer. It's very important to build a marketing strategy. So if you know who your customers are, you build your marketing strategy around them. If you know what market segment these customers are from, you build your pricing strategy. If you know what features should be present in a food truck chain, you build your operation strategy, your financial strategy. So this is a very strategic level of thinking that is required to solve this case. So I want every one of you to answer these questions here. Take 10 minutes, answer all of these questions. And in 10 weeks, after all the sessions are done, your answers will change because your thought process will change. So get to work, guys. You have Turi as a customer.
Hi. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Akhilesh. Thanks for leading it so far. We just took Dr. Vaidy's time for 4 p.m. India time and he's here on the call. So we'll quickly have a fireside chat for the next 25-30 minutes and then we can revisit this case and then we can share our answers, if that's okay with you.
Perfectly fine with me. It is an honor to finally have Dr. Vaidy here.
Yeah, Dr. Vaidy, can you hear us?
Absolutely, loud and clear, Manthan, loud and clear. Thank you for having me over here. Sorry, I've just been juggling between a couple of meetings, but it's right, 2:30 is fine, great, on time, perfect.
Yes, thank you so much for making time and thank you for so much for sharing our passion for consulting and TAMID as you did in the last call. Today with us. So I'll quickly introduce Dr. Vaidy to all of you. He's our new dean, the mentor of this club, and a very, very highly reputed researcher individual in academia. And I was super delighted to speak with him the last. So Dr. Vaidy is currently the new dean at SP Jain School of Global Management. He's a distinguished professor and he'll be dean for all 4 campuses. Prior to taking this role, he was the principal and associate dean of Great Lakes Institute of Management in Chennai, India. And prior to joining Great Lakes, he was tenured senior faculty at the School of Business Administration at University of Miami in Florida, where he taught supply chain operations and analytics. He has received his MS in Mathematical Sciences and his MBA in Management and Information Technology from University of Akron. His MS is in Operations Research and his PhD is in Operations and Supply Chain Management from the Ohio State University in Columbus, USA. So with this distinguished background, he's also, in addition to this, his extensive consulting engagement has been with several Fortune 100 companies. He has more than 25 years of teaching, undergraduate, postgraduate, and executive MBA and PhD experience, and research experience that has several years of experience in teaching executive education for a number of companies. He has received numerous awards both in teaching, research, and has been appointed as charter member for university's faculty learning community. And Stanford University, USA has recently released a list that represents scientists in various disciplines, and is based on this data, ranks journals, and provides citation index or impact factor. His name appears under the area of operation and supply chain and is ranked 171 out of 23,000 researchers in that group. He has published more than 100 research paper articles. His work in the area of supply chain and service operations has been heavily cited by both researchers and practitioners. He has over 12,000 citations of the work and H index of 36. He has more than 24 manuscripts. He's written 2 books. He's working on more books. He's co-authored 3 books and is writing the 4th book now in the area of supply chain analytics. So that is like a very condensed introduction of his extensive years, decades of experience around the world. And he's a new dean. He's a mentor of this club, and it's just fascinating to have him on this thing. Thank you for making time, Dr. Vaidy.
Thank you, Mandal, for the kind words. Thank you so much, people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are. The important thing is you are staying safe and staying healthy. Indeed, based on the very brief chat I had with Mandan last week, I'm truly looking forward to working with this amazing group of people for multiple reasons. And it goes back to my experience for many, at least more than a couple of decades in the US, but I've also been very fortunate to have worked in other parts of the world. The last 6 years in India at a very senior level. But one of the things that I want to share with you people is, my fascination towards consulting. Supply chain is my expertise, operations, supply chain, analytics, my expertise. But when you talk about a B school, and when students sign up for a B school, of course you expect amazing faculty. Of course you expect an amazing peer group. Of course you expect an amazing experience. But when I ask this question to my students in terms of what is your number one focus when you join a B school, more often than not, they talk about placement, which perfectly is fine. All of you guys get a degree so they can go start working in the real world. In that sense, I think this area of consulting, and I use the word consulting in a very loose sense. It could be consulting from a supply chain standpoint, from a standpoint of technology. It could be standpoint of operations. It could be standpoint of strategy. Strategic consulting is an area that's fascinating to me, and I've been very deeply involved in this area for the past many years. So what all I'm doing today, people, is this group you have together, to me is fascinating because of the close ties you're going to have with a country like Israel. If you really look at the map, it's a very tiny piece, compared to other parts of the world. But when I think about Israel, few words come to mind. One is cybersecurity. Another one is mathematics. Okay. Number 3 is startups, entrepreneurship. I mean, all these are. I've been very fortunate to work with many of my colleagues from Israel, in the last many years, and it's a great opportunity. So one of the pictures I've been doing the last month, and I've been here exactly a month. You believe this? Is just this remarkable program that SP Jain has in place. I mean, how many schools I can't even name you, one more school where students get this amazing exposure in at least 3 different countries. It's not just the exposure. It's not just trying to go learn stuff or visit Singapore or Sydney or Dubai. That internship opportunities, working with companies, working on real live case studies. This is something which I find pretty fascinating. And what you have now with this opportunity to go to another country and spend a good 2-3 months working in an area where you're going to be pretty much immersed with colleagues who are just clearly outstanding. And there's so much that you can learn, so much I learn every day, interacting with people like that. So in that sense, I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm very happy, Manthan, and the group, that you do whatever it takes. At the end of the day, right? When you ask yourself, once you graduate from SP Jain, sit back in your office, put your legs up if you can, and ask yourself, okay, what have we actually done? What have I achieved in the last 4 years? Yeah, okay, some of my profs were just outstanding. Curriculum was great. I had a great interaction. Peer-to-peer interaction was great. But what really stands out is the journey that you're taken, right? The journey in terms of experience, working with real companies in multiple countries. We get the exposure, to the work culture, the environment over there, the competition, this competitive spirit, the question of, trying to make a difference, right? So my tagline is, yes, we are different. Thus, we want to make and deliver the difference, right? That's what SP Jain is all about. And I think this particular group you have, to me, I think that experience you're going to have, this is something going to stay with you guys for the rest of your life. It's not like when you meet me in the airport, which I always bump into students, every time I was in India and in Miami, where I spent most of my useful life. When I talk to students, they're not going to talk to me about what they learned in the classroom. Hey, we covered forecasting, we covered inventory, we covered ROIs and whatnot. They'll talk about the experience outside the classroom. They're talking about the experience where they're able to make a difference to other people. They're going to talk about the experience where they were able to interact with people from multiple parts of the world. And what a beautiful exposure it's been, right? That's what stands out, in terms of all my discussion with them. So this experience, this opportunity you have is mind-boggling to me. Now, I wish I had this, 25 years ago or 27 years ago. But guess what? We have made progress, and I think this institution is giving you the opportunity, and I look forward to working with you guys. I look forward to pretty much being very proactive. I don't react. I like to be very proactive. I want to really make a difference in your life, and I mean it in all seriousness, because I'm a very student-centric person. To me, one of the very first things in my discussion with the board, when I had multiple meetings to actually reach the stages, I said, what does it mean to be a student-centric organization? You got to put the students right in the front, right in the center. Okay, pretty much they're going to be, they have to be pretty much, in every single topic we have, period, right? Because it's not a piece of paper you're going to get in 4 years, okay? It's my goal out here is to completely transform you guys, and I tell you the last 6-7 years, there's so much I've learned, there's so much of things that happen, but you know what, the thing which really excites me is I get an email, I get a phone call from my parent, and they go like, geez, I'm not sure what he did to my daughter or son. They came for a very short break, and they're actually talking to us. They're sitting with us in the same table and having lunch. They want to go for dinner with us. This is such a great experience. I'm not sure what he did. And I said, that's just the culture. The question of making sure that when you guys graduate, you're going to be business ready managers from day zero, but most important for me is a better person. I can teach anything I can teach. We can all teach pretty much concepts. We can never teach attitude. And that has to be, either it has to evolve or something within you, it's part of DNA, or it's going to evolve over time. So my goal my number one goal in your experience is to pretty much get you guys to have the right attitude, because for me, again, a tagline, with the right attitude and the required aptitude will take you the highest altitude, right? So with that short introduction, I don't want to bore you guys, but I really want to find a way to work with you people. And let's be proactive out here. And because what you guys are doing now is not just for your batch, but for generations of SP Jains, so we're going to go to institution. That's where you guys can actually sit back 10 years and say, you know what, geez, yeah, remember this marketing pitch, we saw this article about this opportunity in Israel? Guess what? We were part of the journey. We made it happen. We made it happen. That, that feeling is priceless. Priceless, right? So let me listen to your thoughts, any queries you guys have. I'm happy to take charge. I'm happy to, if I need to, reach out to the powers that be. Thankfully, I have their cell number. They're still taking my phone calls. I just had a long meeting with the president, the founder, just for half an hour now. So they're still nice to me. So I want to make sure we're able to really take advantage of that, the situation, if you will. But I'm going to stop now. And then open the floor to any questions. But again, geez, guys, you guys are a very special group, and I want to make sure that the experience you're going to have by the time you graduate is going to be something which is quite remarkable. That's my number one goal, number two goal, number N goal, so to speak. Go ahead, man.
Wow, thank you so much for that very electrifying and high energy talk, Professor. And you are sharing the same vision that SP Jain was founded on, and that really will shape our education more than normal academics, as you said. So many thanks for this. And in the next 10 weeks, it's a 10-week sprint for us to achieve all these objectives in a very capsule kind of a time. And this team has been selected very precisely for each of those activities. And now, team, the floor is open for you all. Dr. Vaidy is here in the position of a mentor, our new dean, an experienced stalwart of a consultant, and you can ask any question that you want.
Any questions? No questions off the table. If you ask me a question, I don't have an answer, I'm going to say I don't have an answer. If I have an answer, I'm going to give you an answer. If you don't have, I'm not going to BS, okay? No. Go ahead.
I have one question that I've
Go
always
ahead.
wanted to ask someone.
Akhilesh, right?
Consultant.
Is it Akhilesh?
Yeah, it is, sir. It is.
Okay, cool.
Pleasure to having you here among us. So what's life as a consultant, and how do you handle the pressure? Is there any work-life balance?
Well, no pain, no gain. I'll be brutally honest with you guys. The life of the consultant is going to be brutal. You know why it's brutal? Because there's not only one aspect you're trying to cover. It's not just you having an expertise in a certain area. You pretty much cover the entire supply chain. You're talking to clients, you're talking to customers, you're talking to people in finance, talking to people in marketing, talking to people in operations, right? So let me be brutally honest with you guys. It's great that you're getting a nice salary, what is called a CTC, cash to company. So you get a nice salary, nice bonus. But the first many years is brutal. I've seen many of my colleagues who leave home on Sunday evening, or maybe early Monday morning flight, go to the client site, and they get back home, if they're lucky, Friday night. They pretty much spend maybe a day with family. Okay, it's nice to check your bank balance. It looks pretty healthy, hopefully, but you reach a point for 2, 3, 4 years, you go like, what the heck, right? So you need to really find a way to balance that, your life, your personal, life with your, work. It's extremely challenging. You put in long hours a day. But I can tell you one thing, I have a bunch of my colleagues who are all working for amazing companies. And these are people who have spent 15, 20 years, doing just that. Their biggest, regret is not spending family time. But having said that, what they really took away is this opportunity to work with multiple stakeholders, both inside and outside the company. So should they wish to actually leave the company and go elsewhere, they are in a much better position to actually, demand, if you will, whatever they need. So in that sense, Akhilesh, it's a great question. But I always tell people, no pain, no gain. You might as well go through the pain now, the next 5, 10, 15 years, so that you stand to gain whatever you want to gain 15 years from now. But, if I'm going to do it all over again, I'll do just that. And the important thing, Akhilesh, is that you need to have an amazing support system at home. I think if you have a good support system at home, I think most of your, issues are taken care of, right? You can always do a great job in the workplace. The consulting job, they're going to hire you because you already have the expertise. Where things falter is that balance you spoke about, not being able to spend enough time with the family. But 10, 15 years from now, you can look back and say, you know what, I sacrificed a lot and I can enjoy the life now. Akhilesh.
Thank you for your wise words. I'm terrified.
Wise words. I'm not a wise man. Go ahead, Akhilesh.
I don't know how to react to this. Should I be happy that it's good money? Or should I be scared that it's hectic, Well, I mean, it's exciting.
Well, if your ego is bigger than your logo, you go. Okay. So in that sense, you got to ask yourself, your priorities can change over a period of time. If your focus is on money now, so be it. Nothing wrong in going after money. I tell people there's nothing wrong in going after money. I'd rather see people, the right kind of people having the right kind of money than the money being in hands of, terrorists and thugs and whatnot. With those people, it's all issues. So, Akhilesh, the one thing you have to figure out is what is going to be your objective. Have some short-term objectives, have some long-term objectives. Here's your 3-year plan. Here's a 5-year plan. Here's a 10-year plan. It does not mean that they cannot change, but you would expect a 10-year plan to change. But the 2-3-year plan, make it your plan. Have a step-by-step, process. I'm not big on processes. I'm an operations guy. As long as you have the processes in place and you figure out, okay, for the next 2 years, here's my priority. Next 5 years, here's my priority. Okay, as long as you have a very clear-cut, plan of action, Akhilesh, I think you'll do wonders. You'll do wonders.
Hopefully I'll do wonders. But thank you.
Hold on. Don't say hopefully you'll do wonders, man.
I will.
Yeah, you have to dream big, Akhilesh. You have to believe that you can do well. If you're going to falter, so what? What the heck, right? But at least you tried. At least,
I love this way of thinking. Very positive.
You got to. Life is too short, Akhilesh. If you don't think positive, who's going to think positive for you? Come on now, right? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Go ahead. People are quiet, man. Why are you guys quiet? Should I do what I usually do on my online teaching, which means calling out people cold, taking them a surprise?
Yeah, you may do that. I'm a fan of that, putting people on the spot.
Well, okay, so no particular order. I'm just looking, I'm scanning from right to left, and it just so happens that I can see Srinidhi, third row, right? So Srinidhi, talk to us, Srinidhi. What do you have? Where are you today, Srinidhi?
I'm currently in Botswana. I'm really good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me, Srinidhi? Anything you want to ask?
Currently, I don't, but I was really enjoying what you were saying, and I'm really looking forward to learning more.
Actually, she's enjoying what I'm saying, so I must be saying something right. Wow, thank you, Srinidhi. You made my day. Let's go to Nimish. Nimish is sitting out there. He goes like, okay, man, good, okay, you're okay. We're gonna listen to you now. I mean, all right, man. I mean, what's okay.
Like that. Hi, Professor. How are you?
Hi, Nimish. How are you doing? Where are you today?
I'm really good. Thank you for asking.
Where are you today?
I'm in Delhi right now.
Delhi. How's Delhi today?
I haven't been out the whole day, so I'm not really sure. But
No, not today. I'm talking about the last several weeks, Nimish. I mean, things been under control now?
It's okay. Yeah, it's fine.
It's okay. So you follow all the protocols and guidelines, Nimish, or you go like, who cares?
I try my best. Yeah.
You try your best. Don't take a chance, man. Don't take a chance. You're way too young. You're way too young. Don't take a chance.
I think I'll be fine if something happens.
Okay. Any questions for me, Nimish?
No, Professor. I think Manthan and the rest of, like everyone else, did a really good job explaining everything. So I'm all good for now.
We're all good for now. Nikhil has got his headphones on. He's turned his face. He's looking at something. He's busy now. Maybe let's bring.
No, Professor. No, Professor. I was just on a call.
You're on a call, so you want us to have you finish your call? I can.
No. I did just at the moment. I don't know what the English.
Okay, Mr. Vasudevan. Where are you today, Mr. Vasudevan?
I am in Mumbai, Churchgate.
Churchgate. Okay. Do you have anything for me, Mr. Nikhil?
Actually, I would want to ask, like, is it?
Wait, actually, just ask. Don't say actually.
I wanted to ask, like, what isn't consultancy like a very big domain? Like, there are so many things to it, but does that make it redundant at some point?
Redundant.
Like you are doing involving too many people just to solve an issue. Would that make any kind of difference to the procedure? Like it may depend on certain situations.
Do you think a company like McKinsey is not redundant?
Sorry?
You think a company like McKinsey is redundant?
It might be, it might not be, I'm not sure.
It might be?
Actually, I don't know anything about consultancy yet. So I just...
No issues. I mean, again, remember, no issues. I mean, like you can be an expert, okay? So but by being a consultant, you might have a certain expertise, but what it gives you, Nikhil, is a platform to learn many different things. And then what happens is, say, 3, 4, 5 years from now, you decide, okay, you know what? I've learned all of this stuff in the last 5 years. Maybe I'm going to stick to a certain area. And then you start becoming an expert in a certain area. And then once you become an expert, you want to quit. You're quitting from a very, very good company, so you can pretty much demand wherever you want to go, so to speak, right? So that's what a consulting job is. So I'm not suggesting people, even for a single minute, that you have to become a consultant. All I'm saying is it gives you a beautiful platform to learn so many different things. And then decide, say, in a few years, is this going to be my cup of tea? That's what I'm trying to convey, Nikhil, right? Should I take one more question?
Can I just interrupt here? Nikhil is from our data science cohort. So I think that's a typical data science question, like, do we need so many consultants?
Yeah. A typical data science question, and typical, again, I'm being very silly out here, long hair, long beard. I mean, the typical, quote unquote, pardon my French, Nikhil, the nerdish look, if you will. But so what, man? That's they take out a pride in that, Saira. That's fine by me. I have no issue with that,
Absolutely. And one of our really good students from the batch of 20.
Yeah, Sarah, I think everyone out here I see on the screen are pretty good, Sarah. So they can be a data scientist, or could be a marketing major, or my area supply chain, doesn't matter. I think the very fact they made it to SP Jain, the fact they actually are able to survive and make a difference means that they should be doing something right.
Absolutely, yeah.
And building upon that, Professor, I think the final question would be for us is that we at this point, as SP Jain applies for a full chapter route at TAMID, we are competing with London School of Economics, Chapman University, Middlebury, University of Cambridge.
Did you say Chapman? Did you say Chapman?
Yes.
Chapman is not in your league. It's a small place in Orange County, California. London schoolmate. Go ahead. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Go ahead. No, please.
No, thanks for that. But we are competing with London School of Economics in this beta process in the next 10 weeks, while the stalwarts such as Harvard, Stanford already exist. A TAMID group exists there. So what do you think makes a difference between us at SP Jain versus someone at Stanford or Harvard, and how can we bridge that gap? I'm sure you come up with the same passion for our students to evolve and higher heights.
To give you a quick response, it doesn't matter whether you're from Stanford or MIT or Harvard or or SP Jain. All of us wear the pants the same way. Now, what's different is the opportunity they got to get into a place like Stanford or Harvard, right? But end of the day, I've seen so many examples where students have a certain expertise, and then that it doesn't matter they didn't go to Stanford or Harvard. Many of the institutions are so focused on GMAT scores, for example. Just because someone had a 780 in GMAT does not make it any different from someone who had a 680. End of the day, it's what you do in your job interview, so to speak, right? So to me, I think the key way to differentiate what you guys are going through vis-a-vis any other B school, including Stanford, MIT, Harvard, is the exposure you have. How many students actually have this experience or opportunity to go to, let's say Dubai, Singapore, Sydney, learn from the best faculty, but most important, learn from your peer group, experience the culture. When I say culture, I mean the student life as well as the company culture. Also have an opportunity to work on live projects. I really believe, now I mean this, after spending many years in the US, I really truly believe that it's up to you to make a difference. So what, you're not in Stanford, okay? That's fine. You didn't get into Stanford. You got rejected. Big deal. You got rejected. But you know what? You have a purpose in life. Okay? You focus on your strengths. You focus on your expertise. You focus on what you believe. And I bet you're sitting in the same room with the Stanford guy. And I can give you so many examples. Students coming back to me and saying, I got into McKinsey, but I went through this process and I was their mentor during their undergrad program or graduate program. But I said, they're actually in a meeting where these students are able to respond to queries from the principal consultant in a very different fashion. And they look around, they have people from, the top name schools sitting out there and not able to respond to the queries. Well, it's a training, it's the attitude, okay? It's what you want to do with your life, so to speak, right? In that sense, it doesn't matter who you're competing with, as long as you put your 100% effort into the program. You have to ask yourself, what am I doing now? Am I just getting a piece of paper? No. I mean, the reason why you guys are all signed up and you're 21 people, there's 25 before, now it's 21 people, over here is you're doing something which is different. It's not just going to the classroom, listening to a lecture, taking exams. All those are great. But again, I repeat what I just said a few minutes ago. If you look back 5 years from now, and then you talk to other students who actually had this amazing exposure and the opportunity to go to Israel as an example, you can say, haha, we were, in 2020, 2021, we are talking about this plan of action. Look where it is now. I mean, it's like, when people ask me, what about, your research, the greatest joy I have in publications is the paper has my name, okay? Not just now, but it's going to have my name forever. Even after my useful life ends, it's going to have my name printed, okay? And when people can actually cite that work, they can build upon it, they can critique it and whatnot. To me, it's the greatest joy. How can you put dollar value on that, right? So in that sense, you believe in who you are, you believe in your capabilities, okay? And go for it, man. Go for the gold. Go for the gold.
I think this is a very inspirational.
Exciting. Thank you for this. Does anyone else have a final question?
Yeah, go ahead, guys. Don't be shy out here, guys. It's not time to be shy. Don't be shy. Let me talk to Alan. Alan Manzi, where are you today, Mr. Alan?
So I'm currently based in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, fantastic. Do you have a question for me, sir?
To ask, apart from consulting, what other field would you really be working on right now? Let's say like you're in consulting. What other industries would you be in that work closely with the consulting industries?
Okay, so I've been very fortunate to worked in multiple industries. One of my very first project was for the automotive industry, and then I worked with the healthcare. I built a very large scale optimization model for a major pharma company in the US. And that also happened to be a small part of my dissertation as well. So healthcare, automotive, IT, information technology, enabling services, ITES is what is called IT. These are three big companies where actually I've worked quite a bit in terms of projects. But the beauty is application, right? You're able to work on one project, two projects. You don't have to be an industry expert. Okay, you can actually pick any domain you want, any area you want, and apply it to multiple areas. So, of course, when you start working, obviously working for one company in one industry. But going back to your question, Mr. Allen, I think it's all about trying to find your niche areas, and enjoy it. I promise you. For me, what I'm doing now is not a job. When it's no longer a job, I'm actually happy doing what I'm doing, right? So you have to really believe that you can make a difference to your team members, to your company, to your family. You really have to believe in that. And I promise you, if you have the right attitude, Mr. Allen, it's going to take you places. It's going to take you places. Cool.
Awesome. We have taken 30 minutes of your time as discussed, Professor. I won't take any more of your time. But thank you so much for this. And I just wanted to express my gratitude for committing financial and non-financial help and support for us to achieve our objectives in the next 10 weeks. And we have a very exciting 10-week plan for education. And we'll be looking forward to more guest speakers from the industry and the other ththings that we discuss. So many thanks for this.
And absolutely. Let's if there's any way I can get involved, in a much more, proactive manner, Manthan, just call me in, and I'm happy to get involved because, like I said, my goal is very simple. I want you guys to enjoy this opportunity experience that the folks in Stanford are not having, but you're having that for you, right? Anyways, on that note, folks, it's been a wonderful, enough time that I have with you guys. It's been short and sweet, but hopefully when things get better, I'm looking forward to meeting you guys on a face-to-face basis over a cup of coffee or tea, if you wish, or maybe over lunch, and just chit-chat, just chit-chat about life, forget all the coursework and whatnot, chit-chat about life, because I think that's what is going to make a huge difference in your life going forward, right? Fantastic.
Thank you so much for this.
Yeah, stay safe and stay healthy, people, and don't ever compromise on your safety. Let's not take it. What you're going through now is unprecedented. So let's not even take a chance. Okay? Wear a mask. Take care.
Thank you.
God bless. God bless you guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
So that was Dr. Vaidy, he's a mentor for our club. And thank you so much, Saira, for helping us make this happen. This is the orientation. This is day one. So this wouldn't have been possible without your support, Saira and Meghna. Meghna isn't on this call, but they have been the support system for us. So yes, that was the orientation so far. We have the last bit of the consulting remaining, which is the brain, like the challenge for you to understand what consulting really is. We can resume that. So also just like a note of how we will be working. So we'll have these Saturday events of education, which might be delivered by us or an MBA student or guest. Throughout the week, there will be guest sessions, mentorship sessions from MBA people. And in this, Dr. Vaidy spoke about a very important thing, the approach, the attitude. And so far, like in my last 3 years of experience at SP Jain, there was a gap between, like the driven students who want to do something and the other people, right? So it's It's the attitude that really makes a difference. And so what we are encouraging is that active, participative, driven approach. Everyone should be, we'd request everyone to be proactive in asking questions, getting things done, replying to the emails or the Slack messages. And we want you to be on the toes all the time for the next 10 weeks, because it won't be possible to succeed on all the 10 objectives if you are laid back, if you are sitting back, if you are being told to do work. I want each and every one of you to take initiative and show that you are capable of taking responsibility, because right now in the beta chapter, and this will really be the founding stones for the real chapter or next semester. So that's a small message from me, but now we can continue. Akhilesh and Arunan, thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting Dr. Vaidy, and thank you, Saira, for your support. So, okay, hold up.
Yeah, I'll be sharing my screen again. Okay. Oh, right, I can share it, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. So, I want you guys to either open a Google Doc or have a piece of paper to do the little case study, which will help us understand exactly what consulting is and how does it work. What's the thought process behind every solution that you find for a client? How should you approach a client? How do you estimate figures? How do you make assumptions which are accurate? Usually when you assume something, when you make an assumption, it'll never be accurate. But in consulting, you actually have to make accurate and very precise assumptions. So I want you guys to think about this case study and reply to these 4 questions. So open a Google Doc and write your questions here. And in 10 weeks, you guys will do the same exercise. And you'll find out that your way of thinking has changed. Throughout these 10 weeks, we will learn a lot from speakers from the industry, from guests, from faculty, from our MBA mentors, and they will influence our thought process for the better. So to truly gauge how much TAMID is helpful in not only shaping and helping us enhance our skills, but in helping us to improve and enhance our thought process, let us quickly jot down our answers to these 4 questions. And we'll see the change. So I want to reach out to Vahob because you're first on my screen. So what do you think? Who are the customers of this food truck?
Well, firstly, I would say food truck. You mean by delivery of the truck, delivery food truck, or just a truck which sells outside? Because I just didn't get the meaning of
exactly. This is a very important point. It's not mentioned, and this is the approach that a consultant would take. Okay, what do you mean by food truck?
Because firstly, when I just wrote a first question, I thought it was like a food truck which was delivering. But when I went to the second and third question, it might be that it's a truck which just sells a few candy or ice cream outside.
So that's a very, very linear thought process, which is good. So it's the second one, which sells food.
Well, firstly, it's who might be our customers. Firstly, it's depend to the product and location. Well, if the food truck is like nearby the, like let's take an example of SP Jain. If it's just near SP Jain, the main customer will be students, or which will be hungry and tired after having a classes or group teamwork or etc. Well, in case of if a location is nearby any school, it will be mainly students.
Okay, so I want you to note down your answer in a Google Doc on a piece of paper. Quickly, Raghav is next on the screen. I want you to answer the second question, Raghav.
Could you I think there's something. Okay, no, get back. All right. Are there any features you think should be present for food chain? So should I write this down and then explain? Or
Just explain it to us and then you write it down.
are there any features you think should be present? Yeah, from a food truck chain like them.
Mm-hmm.
As in features of the food truck, right?
Yep.
I guess they should. Okay, the truck should be a vibrant color so that you attract customers.
Right.
Do you mean features like that, or do you mean something else? Because I'm not.
Any features that comes to your mind?
There should be a kitchen. There should be utensils. There should be a board where he can write the menu. There should be music for customers to, again, attract customers. But this is, I'm taking on the basis of what Mahoob said about it being close to a college.
Okay. So now let's take Alan. Thank you very much for your insights, Raghav. So Alan, now I want you to answer, how much would you pay for their food?
Thank you. It would depend on the type of food they're offering. And for example, trying to relate it from question 2, if they have fast servicing operations where they deliver maybe hot dogs, maybe burgers, I believe that would be relatively cheaper than anything that would take longer. So for example, if they're selling hot dogs in fast servicing operations, it would really, I would pay less for that burger because it's first of all, it's fast and you know, it would be cheaper. Something that would take more time, where it would take a certain expertise of craft to prepare that hot dog or burger, it would be a bit expensive than that which is more fast. So it really depends on the fast servicing operations they have, or if they're slow, and also if they're the only food truck in that area, and it also depends on how much people really prefer the type of food they're offering. So at my point too, it would really depend.
Okay, good. And last question, Loka, can you answer this one?
How should they operate? So based on how, I mean, like since like in front of a college or something, so maybe they can be more student catering if, since like the students are coming, so it could be like they could show that they are like a fast food, or just for not on meal based, just like snacks, or they could show like they are that kind of food truck company.
Fair enough. So as you can see, we had different perspectives from different people, different thought processes, different answers. Everyone, please note down your answers in a Google Doc or piece of paper, but do keep that piece of paper with you. After our sessions, you will think differently and your answers will change. And that change, well, we'll credit it to TAMID Group and to the learnings that we have to take away from it. With this, I conclude the presentation. It's been lovely to have your attention and for making this session interactive. I hope that it'll be more interactive in the upcoming weeks. The recordings will be shared. This case will be shared. Take your time and think about it. Now I'll let Manthan take over. It's been really great to talk to you guys.
Thank you so much for this, Arun and Akhilesh, the whole team to driving this. And it's been a journey since 1 month ago, and when we thought of starting TAMID Group until now, having the whole membership process and having you all on the screen. So thank you so much for making time. For the consulting bit in the last part, when you said your mindset will change. So the objective for consulting is we'll make you think like a consultant. You think in frameworks, you'll think in terms of peoples and cultures and partnerships, and how do we make it happen. You'll be able to crack interviews with McKinsey, Bain, BCG, etc. So the next to do for you would be to go back and just like read as much as you can about TAMID Group, consulting, investment fund, etc. And the next session would be investment fund next Saturday, 4 p.m. Dubai time. Meanwhile, second thing to do would be there are these departments open and you can run for vice presidents or other roles in those departments. So we'll be sharing a Google slide, Google Forms with you. Select whatever you want to apply to and make a pitch ready. In the next meeting, you'll be able to pitch why should you stand for it, and we'll have anonymous voting and you will be selected if in that position. Number 3 would be to join Slack. We will make a channel for you and all of you will be, that would be our main mode of communication. Alan is on the Slack already, but all of you please join it and join the TAMID group on SP Jain. The fourth thing is tomorrow we have a meeting with the MBA students. So in the next meeting, we will divide all of you. A few of you couldn't make it because they're clashing classes with Dubai batch, but you'll be divided into a group of 3 to 5 people. Each group will have one MBA student as a mentor and one executive board as a communicator. And you'll have your independent learning sessions upon your discretion. You have to meet once a week. So that is something that each one of you can decide on your own. So that is the next steps for us. With this, we can conclude the session. We can encourage some feedback. So if each one of you, the new members, could just share what did you like, what did you not like, this will help us improve delivery of the next sessions. So Mehra, would you like to know this feedback? I can see Alan, Nimish, Sakshi in that sequence. So would you guys like to just give a quick feedback in 1-2 sentences? Alan, would you like to go first? I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but you're the first person I can see on my screen.
Okay. Thank you, Manthan. Today was, I believe, a good session, informative, and first starting off with the case as Akhilesh brought it to us, trying to let us think and how we are going to review this at a later date and see how our answers have changed. I think that was a great way to start the whole session. And again, the whole content sharing of what we're supposed to expect in the consulting area sector was also good. So I believe it was a good start, and I hope we keep this on. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that. And we are not like, Israel is a country where people are the most direct. The first, like when you will travel to Israel, you'll know, like kids come up to you and straight on your face say, I don't like whatever this is, or they are very straight. So we encourage straight feedback also. If you don't like something, we encourage you to reply that, like let us know on that also. Thank you. Nimish, would you like to share something?
Not really, no. I know it's just the orientation, but it's like we've been talking about for too long. So I just want to get straight to work now, like not beat around the bush anymore. Like I just want to we're all ready to start it now.
Yeah, amazing. And we're getting right into it. The next sessions will be investment fund, and we'll be taught exactly what needs to be taught. But thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah, Sakshi, would you like to share something?
Yeah, since this is the first session, I've generally liked the way everyone gave in their insights, and definitely I did learn something new. I had a question here. Is there a specific reason why we're using Slack for communication? Like, why not WhatsApp or email? Why a new app? Just wanted to know about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So WhatsApp can be inefficient and unproductive, like for the executive team to manage a lot of objectives, a lot of groups. It's different to manage on WhatsApp in all the different groups and keep people accountable, while Slack is a productivity tool. So it helps us have different channels, each one accountable, it's far efficient for communication. For something like TAMID, which has like on parallel 5 things going on. So that's why we use Slack.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Srinidhi is next in general members for me.
Okay, so I mean, it's just the orientation and it was really informative. I don't really have much to say. I'm just looking forward to the next classes where we dive deeper into everything. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Loka, what do you think?
Oh yeah, thank you for the orientation. It was good. Yeah, give me a clear picture of what I'm getting into. So just good. I'm looking forward for more sessions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chawla, what do you think?
I think mine's under the same lines as everybody else. It's a good first session, even though it's orientation, but I think it gave me a much better perspective as to what to expect. But one thing I thought we were going to share the answers for the case study right now. I thought, because you said there are right answers. So when will I get to know? That'll be later. I'll be like,
Yeah, so that'll be at the end of the 10 weeks where you will be able to think differently from different perspectives and question us more and then give a better idea. Once you have a better understanding of consulting, then you will be able to get to the right answer. So it's just about you experimenting with yourself. Every time you learn something from a consulting session, you go and put it into practice and your answer will change. So always keep the case study with you.
Yeah, well, that's a great question. I mean, I have one of the interviews for consulting positions coming up soon. So they ask this question, they'll give a case. This is a company, this is a product. Let's start. So the first question we have to ask them, okay, who's the customer? What is the objective? So they ask us instead, okay, this is the information given. Who do you think is the customer? What is the objective? So we said, okay, let me use this framework of 4 Ps, say product, people, partnership, and price points. So what is the product? Who are the people involved? What is the partnerships we are into? What is the price points we're getting into? What is the geography we are in? We ask those questions to them. They give us some information, and then based on that information, we decide, oh, okay, so the price point is low. We are located near a college. It seems like the students might be at this thing. So now let's get into gender. Is there like more male population or female population? It's like a to and fro. It's like a game of ping pong, back and forth. So that is the mindset that we like to teach you, and this will be very helpful. Even if you don't become consultant, even as a businessman, you have to solve problems based on these mind frameworks. So thanks for asking. That's a great question, Raghav. So moving on, next is Wahab for us. What do you think? Do you have a feedback for us? How do you think we can improve?
Firstly, I appreciate for your preparation. It was awesome. I enjoyed your presentation and the guest session. It's very nice to have some experienced people to talk with us. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your time. Nikhil, you want to share some things with us?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Actually, before this, I did not know anything about consulting. I got to learn a lot of new things. The session was informative. It was not boring, especially the Kahoot game was very interesting. I was about to catch up the win, but I had to settle with 4th place. Apart from that, yes, everything was amazing. I enjoyed every moment.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this. Okay, with this, we come to a conclusion of this session. We will see every one of you next week, Saturday, 4 p.m. We'll communicate this with through email. Please join our channel through from Slack. If anything, you can reach out to any one of us. We are friends now. So thank you for your time. Take care. Oh, one sec. If you can turn on the video cameras, I can take a screenshot for the first lecture. Sakshi, if you're there, you can come on the video. Perfect. I'm screen grabbing in 3, 2, 1, smile. Got it. Thank you so much. Have a brilliant day ahead. Have a great week and take care. See you soon. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. So it was, I'm just going to